Hello, Flosstube. I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the Stitcher with the laughing face. Thank you so much to everyone who watched my first video and who subscribed and commented. I really appreciate your support. I spent a little bit too much time this week checking my channel. It was kind of fun to see, like, you know, when I got a notification like, you have a new subscriber, and I was like, yay, that's so exciting. So I really do appreciate everyone who was so supportive this week. And I hope you'll come back again in the future to watch more. And welcome to anyone who didn't watch the first one, and this is the first one that you're seeing. So I decided to start a Flosstube for a few reasons. The fact that I'm turning 50 this year is still kind of boggling my mind. I feel like I'm not even close to 50. It seems like I just turned 40. Although I guess that was a while ago now. But 50 is kind of a big number. And I've also been thinking about the fact that my husband and I want to move out of this house at some point when all of our kids are done with school. We live in the outskirts of Buffalo, and it's a great little town, and our house is fine, but we're kind of packed in, and we feel like we can reach out of our windows and touch the neighbors on either side. So at some point, we'd like to have a little bit more space around us, you know, bigger yard, and a little bit more opportunity to kind of just not be so hemmed in. But that requires packing up everything in this house and moving it. And if I fill up a U-Haul with all of my crafting stuff, I'm going to be in trouble. So I decided that I'm going to try to finish 50 projects in my 50th year. So some of that is going to be scrapbooking. Some of that is going to be quilting. I feel like I have more of that than I do. That kind of stuff takes up more space than stitching. Although maybe I just need to try harder and have more stitching stuff. But no, the point is to get rid. But I'm spending most of my time stitching. As a teacher during the school year, I think it's just a lot easier, you know, after I'm home from school and dinner's all wrapped up and, you know, at 7 o'clock, it's a lot easier just to grab a stitching bag and stitch for a few hours while I'm watching Hallmark or listening to an audiobook or something like that. I do plan on doing a lot of quilting and scrapbooking in the summer. That's where I think I have most of my UFOs, my unfinished objects. You know, days of saying, oh, the babysitter is graduating, I'll make a quilt. And he just turned 30. So I need to finish that. But I do have grand designs, I guess, for getting through the stuff in my crafting oasis and getting it to the person it was meant for and using up what's there. I did just join the Stitch Your Stash 2023 Facebook group. The second one, because the first one I joined wasn't the right one. It wasn't the one that Jessica from Sweetwater Stitchers is part of, but I did join that, and it's fun to see other people, you know, using up, and they're all commenting on, you know, this was a pattern I've had forever, or floss I had, or fabric that I was using up. So other people have the same idea of trying to downsize what you've got, and not always have it keep growing. Because, you know, there's just going to be more patterns that come out that you want to do too. So here I am working on 50 for 50 projects for this year. I have 4 done already, and which isn't very much for the end of February, but I'm working on it. We're getting there. So it'll be fun. It's going to be fun. All right. So thanks again for everybody who stopped by, and hopefully you'll stick around and see the rest of my 50 projects. I'm hoping when my son is home from college, you can help me with the editing so I can put up like a picture with the list of everything and that, and so you can see what has already been accomplished. So I do have some previous finishes to show today, and I'm going to show off again the 4 that I did finish. I'm hoping to actually set aside some time to do some finishing this week. I meant to do it this weekend. It seems like the weekend just goes by too fast. But I'm going to set up a spot this week, and I'm going to finish off all that Valentine's Day stuff that's done so I can actually put it out next year. And I did pick up a little St. Patrick's Day thing. I'm hoping maybe I can get that done this week too. But first, previous finishes. So the first one I wanted to show was, this is part of a set that I think is really one of the reasons why I started stitching so much again in the past couple of years. This is the February from, I think it's Year of Celebrations. I think that's the name, from Hands On Design. And this is all this called for stitch floss. It's on tea-dyed 24 count or 28 count probably, because that's pretty much what I stitch on. And this was one of the first frames that I found to use kind of the way Priscilla does stuff, where you can switch things out. You buy one frame and it has the little clip on it, which I thought was perfect, because then all I have to do is just clip in the stitching each month. I have little bow bundles. It's not even really tied into a bow. I just took a bunch of ribbon, bundled it together, and put something around the middle. And then I just kind of, there's a hole in the top of the clip there, so I just put some of the ribbon through that to hold it nice and tight. I mounted everything on foam core, so it's a little bit thicker just because it's on the foam core. And the plaid is just a plaid I had in my stash with a red and white that kind of matched the more vintagey looking colors in the stitching. And then because it has this cute little ridge at the top here, and there's one at the bottom, it is easy to do something like that. So for each month I can change out whatever little embellishments to go with it besides the bow. I also have the January one. I did all of this. These were like the first real month to month, one for every month set that I did. This is January because I haven't put him away yet. I'm trying to make sure I can see him. And that I did on kind of a blue that looked a little bit more just wintry. Didn't even use the gingham on that one. I did all of them except for December, because it seems by the time December rolls around, there's so much other things going on. I never got the December one done, but I will. And that was Hands-On Design. And like I said, it was really the first one that I did that was a whole set that I wanted to get one for every month done. And that really kept me moving on to the next one, and how much fun it is to get one for each month. So the next one is also from a monthly series. This is from Sugar Stitches. She's on Etsy. And these are the calendar girls. So this is the February one. And I loved how each of them, all the girls had their cute little dresses. They have the little pigtails. And they all have a different kind of scene. So you'll see next month in the March one, you can actually, she's inside. You can see out the window for her. But all of them have the gingham and like the little lace trim. So I tried to replicate that with the lace trim that's on the trim here. And that's again on tea-dyed 28 count, just regular linen, probably from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that. And then this again was an idea from watching Priscilla. So she does the magnets. And this one, this board I found in Hobby Lobby. This was in the unfinished wood. I just kind of, I painted it brown first, and then I painted it white and wiped it off a little bit to make it a little bit more weathered looking than just the plain wood that it was. And then because it's got the galvanized tin on it already, I didn't even have to put washers on it. I just used the magnets. And I have all of these done except for May. For some reason, May fell through the cracks. She's mostly done, but not entirely done. So, and I do have the January one here. I just hadn't gotten around to putting them away yet. So the January one is also super cute. This one, she's got a little, oop, this one doesn't stay on as well. It's a super cute little snowman friend. And the ruffle that goes around it, that is fabric that I cut into 1.5" wide strips and then made the ruffle. So you just put a really, really loose stitch on your sewing machine. So loose and the longest stitch you can. And then when you pull on the bottom, on the bobbin thread, it will tighten it up. So you can make the ruffle as tight or as loose as you want to. I just find that really convenient because I can make sure it goes with what I want. Now it has, the gingham on this one is kind of pink colored more than red, but the pinks that I found were either washed out or too bright pink that it would have clashed. So I went with the red and white check. I used the red and white check on a couple of them because it just works really well. But I like the blue and white, that kind of vintagey look too. And then of course next month will be a nice green one. For the 4th of July one, I actually used ribbon that I took the wire out of the one side and then sewed on that. So that one's like a really full ruffle around it. And that one, having the hanger on it, sometimes I hang it up, sometimes I put it on an easel, but I kind of move them around from month to month where they are and what extra decorations I put with them. the other previous finish I have is, this is a Primrose Cottage. That's Lovebirds. And I did this one last year. I think it was the first thing I did from them. And I just thought that was super cute. Again, it's on tea-dyed linen. And I just made a little pillow with some fabric that I had. I probably whip stitched it up at the top here and put the bow on the top to kind of camouflage that. But what I did was before I sewed the pillow together, I just used some of the floss, stitched around the edge, and then pulled the opposite threads free to make the little fringe. And I've done that a couple times on linen. It's a good way with ornaments too. If you're making Christmas tree ornaments, it's an easy way because you can just use another piece of fabric behind it, or use the linen, another piece of linen, and then having the fray around it makes a cute little edge really quickly. So that I did last year. And then I have a couple things that all need to be finished off. So these were stitches also from last year that I never got around to finishing. So I didn't get them out this year and I was really bummed because I meant to do it. This one actually, I don't know, this one's been done for a while and I just never found the right reds to go with it. And I think I just found this on Pinterest. But a little bicornu, I think that's how you say it. And that one's not quite, that's a little bit thicker linen than tea-dyed. I'm not really sure what that was on because that was before I kept track. But that one I've been wanting to turn into a little bicornu as well. Now this one was a freebie last year, and I am blanking on who it was by. I will look it up and I'll put it in the notes. But she had this cute little freebie and she said, use whatever floss you like. So I actually used the DMC metallic floss. Pretty sure it's the 321. And I just did that up. And the pink is hand dyed. I did that myself last year. I followed the instructions from Chelsea and Priscilla because their instructions are great on how to dye your own stuff. So this is Monaco that I just got at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I do not have an L&S near me, which is very sad sometimes. I would love to just be able to go and actually see the floss and touch the fabric. And, you know, before you order things, I'm one of those people, I like to touch that kind of stuff first. But, so I decided that I would try my hand at dyeing because all I have is box store. So when you only have white, maybe some black, but it's usually Aida, it's usually not linen. And I found like blue, and that's about it. So this is with fuchsia. The Rit dye is fuchsia. And the other piece that I stitched on that pink, I did this year. And that is another freebie. This one's from Cherry Hill Stitching. So this is actually one of my 50 for 50 that I finished this year. And I'm not sure if I want to do that in a pillow or what I'm going to do. Haven't made up my mind yet. So then when I tried my hand at dyeing last year the first time, I cut that piece of Monaco in half, and I did half in the pink and then I did half with black because I wanted to make my own chalkboard and see how that turned out. And I like how it turned out. I'm very matchy though. So if I'm going to do a set, like if I was going to do one of Priscilla's set, if I started it unwitched, I got to finish it unwitched so they all look the same. But I do like how this turned out. It is pretty chalkboardy. You know, with a mixture of color in the fabric. And this is Primrose, Hugs and Kisses and Valentine Wishes. So this is one of the first things I got from them. And it worked up really quickly. So I have a couple other ones of the Hugs and Kisses, or what, you know, they have all those cute little different sayings for it. And I'm not sure. I have actually, this one I might do, I picked up one of the little cutting boards that was out at Valentine's Day that has a heart cut into the top. So I might do that on a cutting board. And then my other Valentine's Day piece that I finished this year. So this one, the Happy Valentine's Day, and this one, these are part of my 50 for 50. So I did finish the Valentine Lane from Stitching with the Housewives. And that one, I am very sure I figured this out last week. It's like, ooh, that would be really cute. I'm going to use this cute little easel from the Dollar Tree because once that's folded up, that'll be perfect on there. And I'm going to probably do the magnets because I mean, this is perfect for the tiered tray tidbits. I keep saying Timbits, but that's because I'm from Buffalo. So if you know the area, Timbits are the donuts from Tim Hortons. But it's perfect. Just the perfect size, and how cute that you can put it. And it's not just, you know, that it's not an easel. So it'll be up a little bit off the table that you're using. So those two are 50 for 50. And then I also have my December month to month. And the January month to month. I haven't started the February one yet. I do have it, the pattern, but I haven't started it yet. So those are previous finishes, my 50 for 50 so far. Hopefully next week I'll have some more 50 for 50s done, and hopefully I'll have a chance to show those off when they're all finished off next week. So on to my WIPS. Now I only really have 3 things that I've been working on, and being that March is going to be starting, I'm going to do a suggestion from Jessica at Sweetwater Stitchers. She, in one of her earlier videos, I don't know if she still does it, but I thought it was a great idea. She would take a day and assign a different kind of stitching to it. So Sunday might be your Christmas day, and Monday might be Halloween day, or however. So I decided I was going to do that. I thought it was great. So you're constantly working on different things and not getting tired of it, but you're also working on things throughout the year. So when the holiday does roll around, hopefully you've got something done that you can put out, you know, that you've been working on for a while. So I decided to do that in February, and then I started working on all the Valentine's Day stuff. I was like, oh, I really just want to get the Valentine's Day stuff done and not switch to bees or Halloween or anything. So March starts this week. So I am going to assign days for March, and I am going to stick with that. And I forgot to grab my planner and do that, but I'm going to give, one day is going to be for bees. I have a lot of bee stuff. I'm going to do one day for Christmas, one day for Halloween, one day for my big project I'm still working on. I will do a Valentine's Day. I'll probably actually do a couple days for my big project, because my big project is for my husband that I'm working on right now. And he teases me whenever he sees me working on something else. So I do want to get this done. And his birthday's in May. So it was supposed to be a Christmas present. I only had a little bit done at Christmas time, but it is coming along nicely. And I hope to have it done for his birthday in May. Like totally done, finished in the frame, ready to go. So this is Wedding Love by Stitchrovia. And I love the negative effect in this one. So the negative space is what's making the words. The original called for colors were very orangey pink. So I used my own. And I'm pretty sure I saw this behind Hannah Duffy, who's the Stitching Fairy. I'm pretty sure I saw this behind her in her craft room, but I think it was in kind of gold colors, and it looked amazing. So really cool. There's only 4 colors in it. So very easy to switch out your favorite colors or what's going to go with your decor on this one. This was from the Etsy shop. Stitchrovia is out of the UK. She has a couple other cool things too, but I just love this one. So this week I got more work done over here and filling the heart in. And since I got some of the V and the E, I got the pink. So the letters are starting to pop out a little bit more there, and a little bit more done up at the top. So this is on 28 count casual linen. And I do use, not until really this year did I start doing stitching in hand, but I can't do, I watched Chelsea and Priscilla, of course. I was taught how to do it stab and poke or whatever you call it, or just in and out. But I also used a stitching stand for many, many years. When I used to do really big stitchings, you know, the kind that you would spend 300 hours on, I usually did stuff from Paula Vaughn. But when I did really big stitchings, I had my stitching stand. So I would have one hand on top of it and one at the bottom, so you could go back and forth. And that worked really well. But now everything is smaller. I usually stitch half the time like sitting in my bed while my husband's playing video games. So that doesn't work for that either. And I actually wore out my stitching stand. I can't tighten it anymore, so I would need a new one anyway. But I always did the back and forth stitching, and then stitching in hand. I tried it, but it hurts my left hand to bunch up all that fabric. So I kind of have figured out a way to do it in the hoop. And I found that it works really well on that particular stitching because there's so much in the same, you know, just the 4 colors that you're using, and so much that's just back and forth as you're making the words pop out. So stitching in hand has worked pretty well for that one. It's also worked pretty well for my other Valentine stitching, which is from Primrose Cottage. I really haven't worked on the Valentine's Day house trio from Waxing Moon, but that is going to be part of my rotation. So every, you know, Wednesday is Valentine's Day or whatever day I work on it, I will be doing that. But this is the Loads of Love Sal from Primrose Cottage. This was one of Katie Rogers' designs, and I found that stitching in hand worked pretty well on this one too. Now, I'm not entirely stitching with the called for colors. As I said, I don't have an LNS, so I didn't realize that this one called for weeks for the car, like the red that was in the truck, and for the turquoise color. So I had to do what I could with DMC. So I'm using the DMC variegated 115, and I use that for the truck. And that goes from super bright to really, really dark, like wine colored dark. So I've kind of been fussy cutting and really going with the brighter colors. And I think some of that is 321, which is one of the other called for colors in there. So I'm trying to get it right where the colors are starting to change. So but you can definitely see the variegation in the truck. And so the truck is done, and I got all the little hearts trailing out. And then I've got the birdhouses started, and the part that says kissing booth, and the Be Mine at the bottom. I know they started with the borders and worked their way in, but I'm too afraid to do that because knowing my luck, I would be off by 1 and then have to go rip stuff, and that would not be fun. So I decided I would just start in the middle and go on my way out. So that one's coming along also. And it's a big stitching, but there's a lot of white space in it, so it's going along pretty quickly. So I do appreciate how fast it's going. Now, the other Valentine's Day stitching that I've been working on all of this month is the Let's Go Ride a Bike Sweetheart Street from Stitching with the Housewives. And this one took I didn't get quite as much done on this week as I was thinking I would, because I ran into a little problem. I'm actually off by 1 in the mailbox. And when I figured that out yesterday, I was like, I'm the only one who's going to know, because who's going to come and check my chart and make sure. But I'm running out of the 12 green in the called for Classic Colorworks. So I didn't want to pull out and risk the fact then that I wouldn't have enough 12 green to do the banners. And I'm already a little worried about that. So what I might wind up doing, I'm going to do all of the white that's in the bike and everything down here before I do the banners. Because if I don't have enough white of the 12 green, then I might switch the order of the banners around. Because in the pattern, here's the pattern, they went every other with the white. So there's 4 white ones, and then the 2 blue and the 2 red in the middle. So depending on how much I have left, I might flip-flop some of those around just to make sure that I'm not going to run out. Because I don't like mixing. I don't want to mix in whatever the DMC is, even though, again, probably nobody would really know. I would know, and that would bother me. But I might switch the pink, because I think I do have that. The pink is the, I think that's the Seashelly, which I'm actually using Charlotte's pink from Weeks Dye Work, because that's what they had in stock. So I might switch it out and make it the pink ones and then put the white ones in the middle. We'll see. Also, when I do Presley over here, I'm going to have to use DMC for her because I ran out of tea and biscuits when I was using it for something else. I don't know why I didn't get to. But so a little bit of a change just to make it work, but I think it will be just fine. I also switched the greens. I was using the called for, it was Little Sprout, but on the black I found like it wasn't showing as well as I would like it to. So I switched it out for the 4-leaf clover that I had from one of their other projects, and I thought that it showed up a little bit more. So, you know, that's one of the nice things about stitching. You can adjust things to how it's going to work for you, or what you have on hand, or what's going to show up in your house. But that's And that's always pretty cool. You know, or you can, I know some people even changed the dog and put a different dog sitting on the bike to go along with what they had. I think that's awesome too. All right, so we did 50 for 50. We did WIPS, we did previous finishes, and now I do have a little bit of a haul. So this week was the final week in the roundabouts for spring. If you know Priscilla and Chelsea with Stitching with the Housewives, they do their series, and for the past couple of months they've had instead of the rectangular tiered tray tidbits, see I said it right that time, they've been doing these adorable little roundabouts. And so this one is Bloom, and I had to get that one because bloom where you're planted was one of the phrases my mom used to say a lot. My mom had a green hand, not just a green thumb. She had a green hand. She could make anything grow. I did not inherit that, unfortunately. I'm woefully bad at, I mean, I have like 3 houseplants. That one's fake, obviously. I have only a couple houseplants. And oddly enough, it's the plants that she gave me for my garden that are still alive. I have daisies that she gave me from her house, going on 20 years almost, knock on wood, so that they'll keep around. And they're like shrubs, and I love them. So daisies were her favorite. So I loved this one because it has that daisy trim on it. And that was a phrase that she used to say to me. Used to drive me crazy sometimes when she said that to me, but it was one of her phrases. And this is also the one that comes with a free one. It's Tulip Time, which I can't show because there's no picture for it, but that's really cute too. It has some of those cute little trucks. And I don't have a lot of spring stuff to decorate the house. I do have some Eastery things that I'll put out, but I don't have a lot of just spring. So I'm looking forward to stitching a lot of spring stuff and having it up for that. And the other thing I purchased from Stitching with the Housewives, and I looked through a couple of different of my favorite designers for St. Patrick's Day stuff, because I got this week at Hobby Lobby, and I know a bunch of other people have used this as well, because it's so perfect to just stick. There's just enough room in there just to stick in a stitching. It's so cute. And of course, it's all 40% off right now. Although it's a little frustrating, I gotta say, because it's not even March. It's February 25th. 6th? So I don't know. It's Sunday of February. There's only a couple days of February left, and all of the St. Patrick's Day stuff is pretty much gone. And I don't know. It just seems like you have to get stuff when you see it, or it's gone, and it's kind of, you know, what if you weren't ready to buy something yet? But I don't know. It's just kind of crazy how that goes. But I did pick that up at Hobby Lobby. I was looking for stuff for, and the reason I was kind of like, oh, it's all gone already. I left the Christmas tree up in my classroom, and so the kids, we took all the Christmas decorations off of it, but then we put snowflakes. They all made snowflakes. My 8th graders sitting there making snowflakes. They had a blast. And then we put Valentine's Day stuff on it. Well, I didn't have a lot for St. Patrick's Day that I could use, so I thought I would go and just go to the dollar store, go see what they had at Hobby Lobby, and there was hardly anything. So we're going to make do with a bunch of green mesh and a couple of little cauldrons, and we're going to put, sorry, pots. They're not cauldrons. Could use them for cauldrons. But we'll put some gold coins in those and a couple sticks of shamrocks, and that's about all we're going to have, but it'll be fun. But when I was shopping for my tree, and I saw the truck, I was like, oh, I got to do the truck this year. So I decided to go with the Top of the Morning from Stitching with the Housewives. And I thought that was cute. It'll fit right in there. And it's long, so it'll fit nicely. And I can, you know, just put a little bit extra border at the bottom, maybe to make sure that it pops up above that shamrock in the back. This one also comes with an extra. And that will look really cute on one of those little easels, because that's just the right size for that too. And then the other thing that I ordered, I picked up off of Etsy, is from Lucie Heaton. She's another British designer. She's in a lot of those magazines that you get, like I think it's the Ultimate Cross Stitch. They usually have her stuff in there. She's these cute little pixies that she does that are just stinking adorable. But this one I thought was really pretty because I loved how super bright those Christmas colors were. So that's what I got from her shop. And I'm looking to see, she's got another one that was really pretty, that was more natural, woodsy, wintry. with some birds in it, and I just thought that was really beautiful as well. So that's my haul. I did stop at Dollar Tree today as well, though, because Java Girl Stitches, she used this in the background when she was framing something. This is their wallpaper at Dollar Tree, but it's the white pine board, and she used it like she had a regular frame. She put this on the first layer of the frame, and then she had her fabric square border and then the stitching, and I thought that was genius. So $1.25. So I picked one of those up. Don't know what I'm going to use it on yet, but it was too cute to leave. And then they also had, since they didn't have very much St. Patrick's Day stuff out, they did have Easter. Look how cute those are. Those will go somewhere. Not sure yet. Maybe in my Easter tree at school. We'll see. Now, I'm sure that everybody's been gearing up and getting ready for Market with all the great things that we've been able, all the previews that have been out. I know this was the weekend that you had to get your pre-orders in for Market. So Market, if you don't know, is every year in Nashville. They have a conference basically for stitchers where the designers go. They each get a room, and it's kind of like their shop, and then the cross-stitching shops go and they can pick up the new patterns. So you can pre-order, or you can see what your shop, if you have an LNS, you can see what your shop has when they come back, and it's kind of fun. But it's been so much fun to see all the great stuff, and there's so much. Primrose Cottage knocked it out of the park. Their stuff, I want all of it. It's adorable, super, super cute. And of course, Stitching with the Housewives has some great stuff. They have their May month to month with the new colors in it. One of them's named after Priscilla. They've got the new Let's Go Ride a Bike, which is chickens and farming. It's very cute. And then they have the Merry for Christmas. But the one that I really, they just showed that I really want is the new Welcome Home. And I thought about how perfect it will be on this little thing I picked up from the Dollar Tree. And again, I'm going to use the magnets on it so I can just switch it out. But they said that there was, the first one was summer, and then they're going to do more. But I really liked that one a lot. It was very, very cute. All right. I think that's, yeah, that's it for my haul and for all of that kind of stuff. I did have a giveaway last week. Oops, I forgot to grab it. Sorry about that. So my giveaway was this cute little house, which is from Dollar Tree, and a set of beads to go with it. And you can actually fit the cities, like the Spring City or the Valentine's Day City. They do actually fit on here, but you could use the smaller ones on here too. And this was Dollar Tree, so it was the cute little set of beads. So I did have some people who commented, and a lot of people did comment about how long they have been stitching. One person said she'd been stitching for 50 years, and she's like, oh, I feel old. And I was like, no, we're vintage. We're not old. And some people have only been stitching for a couple of years, which was great. But I had a few people who put down number 1. So from those people who commented and liked and subscribed, the winner for the cute little house is Raina Straub. So Raina, you need to email me at the email that's listed, and then I will get this sent out to you. But I do have a giveaway for this week too. So if you could subscribe and like and make your comment, and you should answer the question, what are you ordering from Market? Oops, I forgot to tell you. So I did order the Honey Tiny Town from Hands on Heart. And I also got Erin Elizabeth's Farmhouse. So Erin Elizabeth is a new designer. She's Shannon Christine's sister-in-law. So she was kind of working with her for a while and getting some help and guidance. She kind of launched her own stuff now, all on her own. Her website just launched. She just did her first Flosstube. But her stuff is really, really cute. And I love the Farmhouse. It's a little bit bigger than some of the other stuff that I've been working on. But I can't wait to get my hands on that. And I will order the Welcome Home from Stitching with the Housewives. And I'm sure I'll get a whole bunch of the Primrose stuff, but can't get it all at once because I do you know, have to buy food and stuff like that. Love to be able to buy it all at once. But so if you answer the question, what are you ordering from Market, or what would you like to do from the Market previews? This is going to be your gift for this week. So it's one of the little easels. I know I don't have patterns. I buy most of my patterns digitally, so I can't really give those away. But perhaps I'll have some patterns down the road. But sometimes it's fun just to have the good things to finish things on too. So this is that little easel from Dollar Tree with a set of beads to go with it. And if you use the magnets on here, this is going to be so cute for all those tier trade tidbits that you'll be able to switch out every month and add to your, you can put it in a tray, or you can even put it standing on a table or something. So that's all I have for this week. I hope next week to show you a bunch of things finished. I will have my planner to show you how I'm deciding for March, which days of the week I'm going to work on which things. Hopefully I'll also have that top of the morning started off and getting going on that. And I do want to also start the roundabouts from Priscilla and Chelsea, start getting some of the spring stuff going too. So spring day will be one of my days of the week. But thank you so much for joining me on my 50 for 50 journey. And I hope you have an excellent week. Hope you don't have any ice storms like we did this week, even though we got a snow day or an ice day. Those are always fun. But cleaning 3 inches of snow off of your car and breaking your windshield wiper, not fun. So hopefully you've got good weather and good stitching, and you have a great week. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.